again, Titus chapter 2 and verse 9. Exhort servants. Now, Paul turns his attention to another group. In the early church, there were many slaves. In fact, 90% of the names on the walls of the catacombs were those of slaves or ex slaves. The gospel met a great need in this class of people in that day. To be obedient unto their own masters and to please them well is in all things. Again, the idea behind obedience is that they should respond to their masters, be interested in them and their work. Uh, Anyone, especially those in Christian work, should put their heart into their job or else get out of it. If you work for a Christian organization, you do it because you want to work for it. I hope you get a good lying out of living out of it, but that is not the point. Christ's work is to be done with the heart as well as with the head and hands, not answering again, that is, not talking back to your employer. Verse 10. Not purloined, but showing all good fidelity, that they may adorn the doctrine of God, our Savior, in all things. Titus chapter 2 and verse 10. Not purloining means not stealing. Businesses lose many millions of dollars each year because employees steal from them. Not purloin means you should not be a thief, but showing all good fidelity, showing faithfulness, that they may adorn the doctrine of God, our Savior, in all things. The Greek word for adorn is the same word from which we get the English word cosmetics. I am often asked whether I feel a woman should wear makeup. I would say yes, the kind Paul is speaking of here, and plenty of it. Adorn the doctrine of God. In other words, if you are sound in the faith, you should wear the appropriate cosmetics. I would like to see more of the lipstick of the kind of a kind tongue, speaking kindly in a mightily fine lipstick, and then the face powder of sincerity and reality. My, there are all kinds of cosmetics that you should use today as a Christian. The church must preach the grace of God. Now, Paul interrupts these admonitions to put a doctrinal foundation under the lives of these people. He states the gospel, and he states it in three time zones: the past, the present, and the future. I grew up in the horse and buggy days, and that's McGee and not me. I think we should go back to the buggy days, but anyway, horse and buggy days. Cecil probably would agree with me. And I never cease to wonder at the speed of the jet travel. Besides the actual speed of the planes, the crossing of time zones makes it possible to arrive at the end of a 3 or 4 hour flight and see that it is only an hour later than it was when you started. I understand they are working now on a plane that will travel 3 times the speed of sound. That means you could leave Dallas, Texas, and arrive in Los Angeles 2 hours before you left Dallas. That would be a wonderful thing. However, I think the most wonderful thing in the world is that the grace of God is in 3 time zones. We see that in the next 3 verses: for the grace of God that bringeth salvation hath appeared. Verse 11. That's the past time zone. Teach us, verse 12. That's the present time zone of grace. And looking for that blessed hope, verse 13. That is the future time zone. These then are the 3 time zones of grace. Let us look at them a little more closely. And that concludes